What's good, YouTube? It's your boy K Flex, and I'm back here with another video, and today we're going to get into the truth about Tua Tagovailoa. Now, real quick, shout out to people who like this video before they even heard the sentence. That was super fast. It's your boy K Flex, and let's get it. So basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm over the loss now. I'm not really over it. I've kind of like accepted it though. The loss to the Tennessee Titans, and as we move on to the offseason, it's crazy. We still got a whole nother game. I wish we could just cancel the game. I'm gonna watch the game. It's the last game of the season for a long time to watch Miami Dolphins football, so I'm gonna watch the game. Don't really look forward to it as much, but I'm gonna watch it for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a game. All right, if we get our ass beat, it's fine. Whatever happens. You know, nobody get injured. Let's just go into the offseason. Hopefully we win. I'm still rooting for us to win. Going to the offseason with a win against the Patriots. Hell, you know, take it. You know, treat this game like it's a Super Bowl. Bring out all the trick plays. Do whatever you want to do. Have some fun with it. Maybe get some young guys involved. Maybe get Christian Wilkins a touchdown. Maybe get an offensive lineman. You know, do something. It's over, right? Our season's over, right? Embarrass Bill Belichick, though. That would be the goal. I don't know if they're playing for anything, but if they are, if we could at least make their job a little harder going into the playoffs as far as seeding or anything like that, then I hope that we are able to do that. Now, to get into Tua. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is the Tua debate, the great Tua debate, and now that the season is effectively over, we can really kind of sit down and have it. Now, I know a lot of people have been having it during the season. I've kind of been ignoring it. I don't want to choose a side. I never wanted to choose a side on the whole Tua debate, whether he's the future or not. I never wanted to choose a side because I just didn't know. I wanted to see the full body of work of this season, of last season. So it's been 21 games now that Tua has played for the Miami Dolphins, and I kind of have that clue, and I kind of have formulated my now stance on Tua. So we're going to get into my stance on Tua, and I'm going to give you guys the truth about Tua, or my truth about Tua. I'm going to probably name this the truth about Tua because it's more clickbaitish, but it's really my truth, okay? Anyways, listen. The truth on Tua, okay? I want to preface this by saying this. Tua is a role model, right? He's one of the nicest people ever. He's a guy that, what's up with this ad, bro? What's up with this ad? He's a role model. He's a leader. I think when I watch him on the sideline, he looks like a leader. I see him slamming stuff. I see his emotion. He's passionate about football. He wants to be the best. You can tell that he wants to be the best. He's a great, I think he's a great leader and a role model. And he has some of the traits that you would want out of not only a quarterback or the face of your franchise, just the overall good person, you know. Things that are bigger than football, Tua has, you know what I'm saying? I think he's a great individual, right? I think he's just a great person, and that goes farther than football, right? That's going to take you a lot farther than football ever will. It's just being a good person. And I'm just looking at Tua and seeing what he does in the community and things like that. I think Tua is one of there's nobody you'd rather have personality-wise, just character-wise, representing your franchise. It seems like one of the nicest people in the world. Seems like, you know, humble. He's an amazing person as a guy, you know what I'm saying? I have nothing negative to say. If anybody has anything negative to say about his character or anything like that, you're tripping. I would say that you're, you know what I'm saying, delusional. You know, his character, he's a fantastic person, right? I just want to get that out the way before I get into the next segment. As a quarterback, Tua is simply, at best, mid.
Bruh.
And that's all I can really say. And with that being said, if we could have an opportunity to get a better quarterback, we need to do it. All right, now, I said all the nice stuff, then let me get into the facts, okay? Tua, at this point, after 21 games, has shown no signs of being anything other than mid on the field, okay? He's great. He's a great leader, but on the field, as far as production, with his arm, throwing the ball, he is mid at best. And if you really look at the numbers, the statistics, you're looking at the Joe Burrow, the Justin Herbert comparisons, and how, you know, there's certain graphics that on ESPN where you'll see Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, you'll forget Tua even exists, right? And we're not going to pretend that both of them got drafted into the perfect scenario. Now, Tua didn't get drafted into the perfect scenario, but neither did they, and they still found a way to flourish, okay? They looking special. Tua is looking nothing short of mid. At that, like, at best mid. Now, he was selling the ball on receivers last weekend. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm not just saying this because we lost, because even when we were winning, Tua looked pretty mid. But the thing about it is, when we're winning, you're not going to catch me complaining. He's doing what we have to do to win. But at the end of the day, there was always going to be a time where we needed Tua to do a little bit more. It was always going to be a time. We didn't know it was going to be the Saints game, what game it was going to be. I knew that it was going to be a time where Tua was going to have to really just show up. So that's why I never bashed him when we was winning and he wasn't really doing much. Our defense was carrying us during the whole 7-game win streak, because I'm like, yo, when it's time, we'll know, okay? And Tennessee Titans, January 2nd, it was time, okay? It was a time, right? Down 3-17 in the second half. That was time right there. Let's kick it up. This is our season right here. Our defense, you know what I'm saying? We already gave up 17 points. Our defense might be starting to shake. This was time right here for the first time ever where it was like, okay, we don't need a game manager right now. We need somebody to go out here and win this game and save our season. And this was really time for Tua to prove himself. And in that moment, I just seen him come up short and not even come close to even, looking good. So I pretty much just formed that conclusion after 20 games, I look back at the whole body of work, and it's not like, he was going crazy, dominant during the 7-game win streak. He's just always been kind of middle of the road. And I personally feel like at this point, as long as we keep Tua, we're always going to be just a struggling team. I'm not here to say we can't go nowhere with Tua. Maybe we can. So you can go somewhere with average quarterbacks, but it's going to be a super rough time. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be super struggle, right? We'll never be dominant with Tua at quarterback. We just had one of the best defenses ever over the last 7 games, and we're barely winning games. Our defense is going crazy every game, and we're still in close games with shitty teams because our offense can't move the ball. Now, I will say one of the biggest, because I think, all these quarterbacks, Justin Herbert's of the world, even the Joe Burrow, they've had bad lines too, offensive lines. So I don't think that's the main excuse for Tua. I will say this is probably the biggest downfall of Tua compared to them two. The biggest variable that was out of his control is that he was drafted to a defensive-minded coach. Now, I look at the Bengals, they have an offensive-minded coach. So maybe that helped a head coach I'm talking about. Maybe that helped out Joe Burrow a lot more. Same with the Cardinals. Young quarterbacks that are succeeding, they have offensive-minded coaches. Now, Mac Jones has a defensive-minded coach, but that also is Bill Belichick. And also they have Josh McDaniels, who could be a head coach in the league if he wanted to be. So I feel like if anything, it could be the offensive coordinator is the reason. But for some reason, Tua just never flipped a switch. And, there's only so much that you can really bring up that Cardinals game to say this is his ceiling or this is his potential before, at a point when it first happened, it was like, okay, this is where he could be. This is what he's going to build off. He never built off that Cardinals game. And it's been a whole season, and his best game is still that Cardinals game after a whole nother season. And he never built off on. He never even looked close to how good he looked in that Cardinals game ever again. And how much games do we need before that Cardinals game isn't like, how many games do we have to play to keep going before we realize that Cardinals game might have been what is it called in statistics when something is abnormal? It might have been an anomaly. That's the word. Yeah. How many games do we have to go before we realize that Cardinals game, that might not be who Tua is? That might have just been an anomaly of him having a good game and he's just a mediocre quarterback. Because in 20 of the 21 games, or maybe if I'm not saying he didn't have many other good games, but majority of the games he looks pretty mediocre, right? Wins or losses, mediocre. So that's just the reality, and maybe it's the offensive coordinator thing. But here's the thing: so do we want to really go into next year and get another offensive coordinator? And again, you could put some of that on Brian Flores because maybe he's getting the wrong offensive coordinators. But do we really want to go into another season, have Tua on his third offensive coordinator in 3 years? That's a tough position. I just know we can't have the same offense that we had this year, next year, because that's not going to work either. So we're in a lose-lose. And we also, on top of that, have a generational talent at quarterback that's having a fight with his team right now. And rumors are he wants to come to Miami. So all this mixed it up into one. It's just, I'm just here to say, I'm not here to say trade for Deshaun because his stuff is not over yet. But Tua's mid. That's just what I want to get. That is the final consensus, okay? I've been trying so hard. And some people are not allowed to admit that because y'all have planted y'all flag so deep in the Tua is generational, Tua is this, Tua is that, Tua is so great, Tua is going to be the best quarterback ever. Y'all have planted y'all flag so deep into that territory that y'all can't, y'all ego, the only thing that can lift that flag up would be y'all to release y'all ego. And most of y'all have egos so fucking fragile and so, like, y'all will never lift that flag up to be like, he's not that good. You know what I'm saying? Me, I kind of have an ego. I've kind of, relinquished it, but I That's why I never planted a flag that deep into that territory, because I knew it would be hard for me to lift it up and then go the other way. I try to stay fluid on the Tua situation, but at this point, I'm pretty much planting my flag in the Tua is mid category, okay? I don't want to say he's terrible. He's definitely not great. He's definitely not generational. He's definitely not the guy we thought he was drafted. He's just mid. And again, mid quarterbacks have won Super Bowls before. It's just going to be a very, very fucking tough time to win with Tua. I do think that, if Deshaun Watson can get these cases settled, that we do need to pursue him. We need to get Deshaun Watson, if ever, a time, if there is an upgrade at the quarterback position in free agency, because we do have a defense that's super good. It's not like the whole team is like waiting on is all improving at the same time. We're just waiting on our quarterback and our offense to get their shit together, and it's just not happening, right? We already have the talent on defense. These guys aren't going to be here forever on defense. These guys are getting older every year. We wasted for like 4 straight really good Xavier Howard years. We just keep wasting them. And so at this point, you know what I'm saying, if there's opportunity to upgrade quarterbacks, we have to do it. I'm sorry. All right. Tua's mid. That's the truth about it. 20 games. People are saying you need a 45-game sample size. I don't need a 45 games to tell a quarterback's mid. He has shown nothing special since the Cardinals game. That is now an anomaly. We have seen enough of a sample size to know that Cardinals game is an anomaly. That is the outlier. Okay? People saying, oh, what if you gave up after pay? Like, people want to compare him to Tannehill so bad. I don't know if that's a good example. Like, people want to defend him by saying, do you see what happened when we give up on Tannehill? Tannehill has not won a Super Bowl. I don't know why that y'all feel like that's a good comparison. Tannehill don't look that good. Tannehill has a number 1 seed because he had Derrick Henry at the beginning of the season, and now because he's playing shitty teams like the Jags and the Dolphins. Tannehill's not winning the Super Bowl. He's probably not making out the first round. If he gets the bye, he's gonna get eliminated in the second. Tannehill's not that good. I don't know. Look at his numbers. Look at him actually play. He threw 120 yards and they won the game. And you're gonna say, oh, Tua could be the next Tannehill if we let him go. Okay, let him be the next Tannehill. Tannehill's not that good. He's not gonna have Derrick Henry. So I don't understand that either. Also, he's saying, oh, what happens if Peyton Manning, first of all, in Peyton Manning's second year, his team went 13-3. He had 26 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. Tua has barely thrown 4,000 yards in his career. Comparing him to Peyton's first 2 seasons would be unfair to Tua and actually idiotic. And who else you want to compare him to? I'm just saying things that I've seen on Twitter. Whatever quarterback that you want to compare him to, people say, Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers didn't even play his first 2 seasons. In his first year, he did play. He had like 14 wins, 2 losses. He had like 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns. Like, you can't compare Tua is mid. Like, you can try to look for these. And yes, his offensive line sucks. A lot of people's offensive line is not that good. That's the reality. Does he have weapons? Yes. Jalen Waddle's a great weapon. Devontae Parker's a great weapon. Will Fuller was supposed to be a great weapon. He didn't play. Matt Collins is pretty decent. Like, okay, he doesn't have the greatest weapons in the world, but they're serviceable. But that last game against the Tennessee Titans, the biggest game of the year, the first game we actually needed him and he was selling receivers. And I know the weather wasn't that good, but in the cold weather games, another thing with him is he hasn't looked good. It's just not. He's just mid, bro. I mean, every sign points at him being mid. And I don't know if it's because that he's a nice guy and that he's a really, really good, person in the community, and he's really an influence and role model, and he's a beacon of hope probably to a whole community of people. I don't want to speak for them, but like Samoans and everything like that, or Hawaii, people from Hawaii and stuff, he's a role model, and that's bigger than football. But on the field, he's mid. That's the reality. Get in the conversation. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Road to 11K on the way. Okay, Flexington. I'm out.